When parents think about traveling with their kids, millions of questions and what-ifs rush through their heads. Each age group has their challenges, but parents can rest assured that they can have an enjoyable travel experience with their kids. Jim Clark, President and CEO of Daniel and a licensed social worker, is here with some tips on how to have a successful vacation with the family. And I'm laughing throughout this because I'm thinking, man, my old man probably worked all year long planning this big, long family vacation. And then me being the brat teenager I was probably just ruined it because kids can be a little difficult on family vacations.
They can, and they can, and depending on your distance, along with their age, is determining what kind of things you can kind of do.
Well, let's start this morning real young. We're talking babies, infants, right?
Talk with the babies. The best thing with the babies is to know is that there's how you pack. Packing and planning with babies is really the most important thing. You got to pack smart, and new parents tend to try to overpack, and that's one of the things that you got to be careful of. You always know that you can always do some washing if you're going to go someplace, or just even rinse some things out. And you got to adjust your mindset. You can't be thinking about that you're going to get there right away. Particularly with babies, you need to be able to have some time to stretch. And so it's always good to plan double that period of time and travel. And the other thing is leave the big stuff behind. You know, many places now you can rent materials. Even when we would travel to our grandparents, they would have things for us. The biggest important thing is have a stroller. Have a stroller that you can depend upon, because that's what you're going to really kind of need.
You know, flying with babies can be stressful.
Flying with babies can be stressful, and that's one of the things that parents need to know. Their diet, you know, I tell people all the time, if you're going to travel with kids, get some carbs in them. That's going to give you a couple of sleeping hours right there. But, you know, and then school-age kids. You know, one of the things with school-age kids is assign them a job. Have them involved in the trip. If you want to have a good time, then people want to make sure that they're involved with it. Create a wish list. Make sure that everybody on this little vacation has one or two things that they want to accomplish. Particularly with kids, let them do some research on their own. Tell them we're going to go here and find out what the distance is. Give them little type of things like that. And as I mentioned, assign jobs. That's always a great thing. We had one time when we were doing about a two-day travel, we had a tape recorder. So one of the children, actually Christopher, was responsible for recording what the trip was like. And that was really enjoyable and very funny, too, in addition to that. Along with that, when you start to talk about the older the kids are, the more people are involved in the process, the better it is. We all know that people need space. I mean, you have social scientists who even determine what is the optimum space. And on a vacation, you really want to make sure that kids have their space. And if you're, God willing, you're able to have an adjacent room or an additional room, that's always something to do. And again, let them do things that they enjoy. To think that you're going to have to control them the entire time, particularly the older kids, you need to give them some of their own time. And we often would say, okay, you've got 2 hours. This is your peak time in which you can go do whatever you want to or whatever. But make sure that they have some of their time.
And that's more about the teens.
That's more about the teens. And as they get older and they're more mature, the more that they can be involved in that process. We would say, okay, you get to pick one dinner today. Okay, are you going to pick? Actually, we never ate dinner when we were on trips. It typically was lunch. But let them be involved in that selection, and that a way that they feel that they're more engaged. And one of the neat things I tell people, too, is have your kids do maybe some assign them to be a photographer for the trip. That is a really neat thing, and it brings back great memories, again, and it engages them and it involves
Especially
them.
Nowadays, with technology out there, cameras on the phones, yeah, everything.
Yes, all that kind of stuff can help.
Jim, thank you so much. If you'd like more information on this topic or other family-related issues, you can go to news4jax.com, click on the Scene on 4 tab, and look under Weekend Headlines. Well, stay with us, everybody, because the next hour of the morning show starts right here in 1 minute. I'll see you then.
You're going to